Yo, what's up, steppers? Make sure I'm good here. And mic check, mic check. Turn it down a little bit. Right. Yo, what's up, steppers? Make sure I'm good here. All right, guys. So, seem like we good. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I get a lot of you guys viewing on the playback. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in on the playback, and I appreciate the viewers that's viewing right now. Today, got a special edition planned for you guys. More calling in if you do decide to call in, but in addition to calling in, we're going to go ahead and open up with a little bit of an intro. And I got 3 points that I want to touch on with you guys. First thing beyond the 3 points is make sure you connect with me through the Discord. So do have a Discord, United Steppers. A lot of things we'll be talking about. In addition to real estate, we'll also be talking about investments and also my new love for cryptocurrency, which new currency, make sure you want to look out for that because I have a bunch of more, I have some things planned for you guys there. Now, the first thing I want to get into when it comes to cold calling is when they say not really. So guys, when you hear an owner say not really, don't try to change their mind. You can waste time trying to change their mind, and all that really does, all right, all that really does when you have somebody trying to change your mind is waste time. You sitting back trying to tell them, well, I don't really want to sell. If they saying I don't really want to sell my house, and you're saying, well, what can I basically do to make you want to sell your house to me? You're playing into their role of them having all the power and them not needing to sell. Anytime you come across somebody that's saying I not really or maybe, anytime you have somebody coming across those kind of things, guys, get rid of it as soon as possible. Stop. Instead of trying to change their mind, go on to the next client and have an abundance mindset. All right, guys, the next thing I want to touch on with you is how you can avoid the do not call list for free. So I had a viewer actually comment on the channel, one of the videos, and I appreciate all you guys, the comments and all that stuff. Really growing out here, so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process. But I have someone comment and they said, how do I avoid do not call lists when I upload my leads into Mojo, because Mojo does not have a filter. Mojo doesn't have a filter, or the most lead trackers or most lead skip tracing services do not have a do not call filter for free. They make you pay extra. Some of them make you pay like 50 cents a lead or 60 cents a lead just to scrub it against a do not call database. Now, granted, that could be better if you are, hit with a $1,500 fine for posting a do not call, right? But if that's not the case, then you're wasting a lot of money. So what I'm going to explain to you is how you can actually do a do not call for free. Now, you have one or two ways to avoid it. Either you can pay for it like I just explained you, but to do it for free, all you simply have to do is change your approach when you're speaking to the clients. And what I mean by that, guys, is you really only want to speak to people who wants to be spoken to. So instead of hopping on the phone and giving them all of your personal information saying, hello, my name is D'Angelo with Jungle Properties, and instead of getting on the phone and saying your first name, your last name, your company, LLC, your address, your social security, before getting on the phone and giving them personal information, you want to make sure you're speaking to someone who wants to be spoken to by you. The way you do that, and then, if you haven't already, this is one of the biggest techniques that really transform my business. All you have to say is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I did not catch you at a bad time, did I? Always answer the phone like that. If you did not see the first episode, I go through the 6 common opening lines, and I really explain to you how to avoid getting on the do not call list. But first, just speak to people who want to be spoken to. Simply ask them, I did not catch you at a bad time, did I? Or did I catch you at a bad time? What you're doing is allowing them to say no before you hop on the phone and try to get them to say yes. And then you sound like every other salesman that comes through the door or that gives them a call trying to get them to say yes. First, get them to say no. This gives you consent to have a phone call. They look at you differently, and also you avoid the do not call list. The last thing, and really this is the biggest one, guys, and today will be about a 15-minute, 20-minute session, depending on if you guys call in or not. Um, but do not let sellers, don't let them discourage you with them being bombarded by phone calls, right? Don't let them discourage you with sayings like, you know how many calls I get a day? Or you're like the 20th person that called me today. Or you're like the 100th person that called. I can sell this property for $1 million. I don't need you. Don't let them discourage you with that stuff because it hurts. Like it hurts me. I actually thought about it because it happened to me today. And I was like, man, I remember when it first happened to me. And I used to go back. I'm like, dang, am I on the right path? Should I be cold calling real estate? Am I doing the right thing in my life? Because this seller is telling me that thousands of people are calling and I haven't even got my first deal yet. Yet so many people are calling. Like, when do I get mine? So I understand how that can feel. So I thought back to it today, just that kind of that feeling. When I thought back to that feeling of like, man, like this ain't right. I cannot continue to go through and feel like, hey, just because, you got thousands of calls a day means that I'm not supposed to get my plate, not supposed to eat what I'm supposed to eat. What I'm here to tell you guys is that that's not true. Sometimes, for whatever reason, these sellers, they like to over exaggerate, for one, and that's just human nature, right? If you got something that's annoying going on, man, it's like the 100th person that called me today. It probably was the second or the third. It probably was the second or third today, maybe the fourth person this week. Bottom line is, it's probably an over exaggeration. For two, consistency kills all, guys. As long as you are consistent, like I put it on everything. I'm living proof of it. And beyond me, there's millions of other people that have accomplished way more than I have accomplished. That there's millions of people in their field trying to do the same thing. What probably set them apart is them being consistent. As long as you're consistent, it's like the ultimate. It's the ultimate even out, right? It evens everything out, right? That's my three big things for you guys for the intro. I like to address Goose6453. I appreciate you tuning in. He says, when I've tried to convince a seller, they seem to try and mess with me and try to waste time. That's it. You're 100% right. That's exactly what happens. Anytime a seller gets you and they, maybe I'll sell. I don't know how much you think I should buy for. How much would you pay for it? To them, it becomes a game. But again, that's why it's even more important. And Goose, that's a great just comment because it just brought me to this. It's even more important to make sure that you remove your emotions. Remove your emotions from the actual, phone call itself. If the phone call is going on, whatever that, person says, they're trying to yank your chain, whatever it may be, remember that for one, it could be the 10th call they had today, possibly. So for one, put yourself in their shoes. For two, remove your emotions from it. For three, remember, abundance mindset. Even if they playing games, as soon as you sense that, hang up the phone, on to the next one, all right? Great comment, Goose. So, voicemails, guys, this is what we're talking about today. For the actual voicemails themselves, guys, the reason why it's so important, the reason why, in the actual course, Cold Call to Success, I do a whole, thing on voicemails. But today I'm going to touch on it in a bit, but I want to explain to you why it's important. The biggest importance for voicemails, guys, is that they're going to call you, like, they're only going to give you a call back if you actually stand out within that voicemail. If you sound like a robot or if you sound like you don't want to be leaving a voicemail, they're going to just hang up because they are getting multiple calls. That's the reality of this market. So what you want to do for a voicemail is sound like an old friend, right? So sound like an old friend, which means sound relaxed, sincere, and pleasant in your approach with the voicemails. Second, with voicemails, guys, always leave your number. You want to assume that they do not have caller ID. So don't just assume that they have caller ID. Leave your number. That way they can call you back. Last one, and definitely not least, for me personally, I believe it is optional, but what I always do is I always say we. You want to always say we. You want to use the perspective to your advantage. Like, when you're speaking with people on the phone, you can be whoever you want to be. Like, you're on the phone, but people can feel your sincerity though. Like, that's the same thing. You can be who you want to be, but at the same time, you got to be genuine. So with that being said, say we, especially if your vision is to own a real estate investment company. If you believe that, you will actually portray that, and that portrays a different kind of confidence versus being a single investor. But at the same time, if you want to, if your thing is being a small time investor, Maybe that's your thing. If that is your thing, then what you would want to do is say I when you're using those voicemails. All right. So now I'm going to do an example of voicemail. And this is an example voicemail. This is how I leave voicemails. For me, it works. I get plenty of callbacks. To be real with you guys, I get callbacks. I get more leads from calling back than on the first answer. Sometimes goes up and down, but I quite often get callbacks. All right, let's get back into it. First thing we want to do is we have 123 Main Street. My name is D'Angelo, Jungle Properties, and let's say the owner name is Eric. All right, so we'll say ring, 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 ring. This person's not answering right now. Leave a voicemail after the beep. Beep. Hey, Eric, this is D'Angelo with Jungle Properties. Just giving you a call about the property on 123 Main Street. Our company is purchasing property throughout the area. We'd like to know if you are interested in selling that property at this time. If you are interested in selling or would like to know what we can offer, give us a call back at your earliest convenience. The number is 513 blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your time and have a great day. A couple things I did there, it may be subliminal and it may even seem like common sense. One thing you want to do, always say their name, and you want to say their property address, and you want to say the reason you're calling, which is you're calling to purchase whatever property at this time, right? So you send a property address, you send the reason they calling, and you send their name. Their name is going to draw the attention. You saying the reason you're calling, not just that, hey, I want to see if you want to sell your property, but you actually saying that you guys purchase properties. It makes a major difference than just saying, hey, I'm calling to see if you want to sell your property. Hey, Eric, I'm calling to see if you want to sell your property on Main Street. Give me a call back at blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, Eric, this is D'Angelo. Calling to see if you want to sell your property on Main Street. I'm a legit company calling them. I'm telling them what my company does. I'm saying their name, referencing their property, and I'm also saying I want to buy it right now. I mean, it seems so simple, guys, but I'm here to tell you it's not simple. If you're not consciously on every voicemail, you'll like fall asleep making voicemails because you feel like you're not doing anything. Yet, you actually got to be very consciously aware when you're making voicemails. Okay. For a couple seconds here, guys, if you would like to call in. Oh, wait a minute. I got to log out. I should have did this before. I think I should have did this before. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Well, see, we got some of you guys watching right now. I appreciate you tuning in. If you want to call in, please comment. If not, I'm actually I'm gonna call this a day. All right, guys. It seems like you're not going to call in. I guess that works out. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll leave you with this. I can say, I was watching I went to a comedy show a couple weeks back. Very funny show. But the opening comedian, he made a joke. He was talking about how he back at the beginning of his career, he said that he did a comedy show. He had to do a comedy show in front of one person, right? So he did a stand-up comedy show in front of one person. And so he said he had to do a whole routine in front of one person. So he's over here doing this routine, laughing, doing this routine or whatever. So he says that the one person the whole time looks at him in the eyes and doesn't laugh one time. So he's looking at him in the eyes. He's not laughing at all. And then he says that the one person gets up. I don't know. Let me get it together. He says that one person gets up and goes to the bathroom. So, so that one person gets up, goes to the bathroom. He stopped performing his set, waiting for the person to get back. And then the person gets back. He performs his set, and that happens. But long story short, he let that be known. He was the message he was trying to portray and convey was that you have to stay on your journey of success no matter who's watching, because you're going to go from, that one person watching to whoever else is maybe watching. So through you guys that are here right now, I appreciate it. But, I've been doing this for people. I've been doing this when nobody was watching as well. And I'll be on this journey until I don't mean to cuss, but I'll be on this journey for some time, and that's how you gotta approach your journey as well. It ain't about who watching; it's about the fact that you stepping. Just take satisfaction in that. In other words, take satisfaction in daily action, then go to sleep like a magnet, attracting the life of your dreams, but never stand stagnant. Get to stepping.